Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to feature the team that I ran to get to veteran early in the season, and with that I was also able to get to the leaderboards rank 307. So after 17 season I missed out on the 18 to get to the leaderboard, but I'm back there, and this is not a very good team per se. It's Kyogre double jump, but looking at the meta, I think with all the Palkias running around, I think it's fine that even if I ran this double jump team, the reason is because I'm simply not able to catch up with the new Pokemons that have become meta, such as Palkia Origin and Dialga Origin, and some of the people are running stuff like Zygarde and Duskmane Solgaleo, Duskmane Necrozma, and Duskwing's Necrozma. So, judging by all that, I felt like this is okay if I run double jump. This is probably the first time I am running some toxic team like double jump for in like as many seasons as GBL has been active. So nevertheless, I think I did pretty well with this team, and just felt like felt that I should share this veteran run with everyone. So without further delays, let's duel into the battles and see how the battle goes. So my opponent is running Landorus, Mewtwo. Potentially there is a Dialga in the back. So they come in with the Landorus. We were able to maintain alignment of the Kyogre onto this Landorus. So we will throw this Ancient Power hoping to grab a shield, but we are not able to. Unfortunately, so this Landorus will have to throw this Ansia Storm. They cannot one-shot us down, and Landorus has already taken a lot of damage. Maybe 2 waterfalls would be enough to knock out this Landorus. So I think they are up to one more Ansia Storm, but it's okay as long as I maintain the alignment. So they bring in the Xerneas, which is not quite good for the Primarina, because Primarina is not a very bulky Pokemon. I think it will die to one Moonblast and a close combat. So unluckily, not unluckily, but Primarina does not have access to a good water move. It just have access to Hydro Pump for now. Maybe once the community day drops in, it will get access to the Hydro Cannon, which would bring Primarina to very high meta in my opinion, because right now what it lacks is coverage move. So once they have access to Hydro Cannon, I think this would become a pretty relevant Pokemon. So the Primarina will go down to this close combat. I hope that I am able to farm whatever is left of this Xerneas. This close combat will put me very low, and maybe one close combat and one Ansia Storm would be enough to knock out. Maybe barely not, because they survived 2 waterfalls. So if I survive this Ansia Storm, I should be able to win this matchup. And they indeed go for the Ansia Storm. Had they reached Stone Edge, they would have won, but I don't think they were at one. So GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next battle. Going up against Ho-Oh, so yet again positive lead for Kyogre, and this is the reason that I'm running Kyogre lead, because we see stuff like Ho-Oh, Double Dragon pretty common. The other common team is Landorus and something like Mewtwo and Dialga in the back. So Landorus in the lead gets walled or gets threatened by Kyogre. So this is the reason. For something like a Palkia or Dialga lead, we obviously are running double charm in the back. So pretty standard ABB. So we are matched. We have matched our Primarina up against this Dialga. Primarina being water and fairy type, it is able to survive one Iron Head from this Dialga because it takes neutral damage. The other one surely will not be able to survive. I definitely would want to maintain the switch here. But the thing is, Ho-Oh, since it's taking resisted damage from the charms, it will be able to farm us down completely. Even though we are running Hydro Pump is so costly charge move that we will not be able to get to that. And Ho-Oh with energy is pretty dangerous, because 2 Brave Birds from Ho-Oh would definitely knock us out. Fortunately we are able to reach this Disarming Voice, which will be able to do nice chip damage. So as you can see, barely touched Ho-Oh's health, and we will let go of this move. I'm expecting a Palkia in the back or some other dragon, maybe a Zygarde, and that's the reason I swap out immediately and they come in with their Zygarde. And this is where Togekiss comes pretty handy, because Togekiss will be able to just wall the Zygarde and farm the entire thing down. And with the amount of bulk the Zygarde has, we would be able to come out with at least, not at least, but definitely we are coming out with 100 energy. It's just a matter of how much health would be left over onto our Togekiss, because if we start getting debuffs early on, the Togekiss gets chipped pretty much. So as you can see, even without the debuffs, fortunately we are not getting any debuffs here, so we should be able to farm this thing down completely. However, had there been more debuffs initial, like maybe a couple of debuffs, and Togekiss definitely would have gone down to the Zygarde, which is very crazy. Zygarde is such a bulky Pokemon, and this is probably one of the reasons that I didn't hesitate running double charm in my lineup. So we will be able to grab both the shields of our Togekiss. I swapped out to Kyogre because I didn't want Ho-Oh to completely farm me down. Here, at least Kyogre would be able to put on some fast move pressure. And since Ho-Oh cannot stack 2 moves, I think we were in a very great spot in this match. So GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next match, picking up horrible lead, going up against this Palkia. And if you're against a Palkia, definitely you would want to swap out to Togekiss. This most likely would bring out Landorus if they have one. So they come in with Zacian, which is not a good Pokemon to go up against when you are Togekiss, because Zacian nowadays are running Wild Charge and Pair Up. So Wild Charge is something that knocks every Pokemon on our team. It's super effective on everything. So we definitely don't want to take a Wild Charge to the face. They went for a Pair Up, which is not ideal for me because we could have let this one go in case had we known that it was going to be a play rough, because now they can build up to 2 Wild Charges and keep the alignment, which we don't want. We want Palkia to be matched against the Primarina. I did slightly, I think my counts went off somewhere because I thought they were not add back to back, but since the charm went through, they threw on poor timing. I was able to sneak in a charm, and which got rid of the Zacian. With this, I'm able to maintain the alignment and get to this flamethrower. This flamethrower will do a good amount of damage onto this Landorus, and Landorus will have to throw a Stone Edge to knock us out, and in the meantime it will take a lot of damage from us as well. So I think we are in a pretty great spot here, because Palkia cannot just do anything against Primarina, and this Landorus is so much chipped away that they basically will not be able to do anything here. So coming in with Primarina, and I hope that opponent just quits. So I was able to, like, in any particular game, I will be able to match Primarina against the Palkia. The opponent immediately quit. So going up yet against Zygarde lead, and this is where they are running Zygarde as well as Duskmane, Necrozma, which is probably the 2 most difficult Pokemons to obtain right now, especially in the Masters League, because for Zygarde you need to complete routes and have a lot of rare excels to put this thing into, because you don't get this by rates. And Duskmane is not really, and Necrozma, since it's not available globally, you have to pay to get this fusion energy. So it's not available for everyone, so I felt like this is a bit unfair because it's such a strong Pokemon. And some people, even I saw, are running Zygarde, Duskmane and Solgaleo, and Solgaleo again is a very difficult Pokemon to obtain. So unfortunately we are not looking in a very good spot here, because Zygarde, this is a terrible matchup. Now I hope that I'm able to farm this thing down completely. As you can see, I'm furiously tapping onto Primarina. I don't want to waste any time, and they come in with Landorus. I think this game is pretty much over, because Landorus will be able to knock out the Primarina. I probably only have one play. If I get a shield here from Landorus, we would be able to land a Disarming Voice. sorry, not a disarming voice, but we would be able to throw a blizzard from Kyogre onto the Zygarde, which will do double super effective damage and potentially knock out Zygarde. Luckily, we are able to get the shield from our opponent, but the opponent is playing surely to their win con. They are farming up, and I think they are at double. And I think if the Kyogre gets double debuffed, Zygarde's bulk will definitely help it to survive the blizzard. And yeah, if they manage to debuff me once more, I think I'm definitely losing the game. And as of now as well, I think one blizzard will not be enough, despite of the fact that the Zygarde took probably 3 or 4 charms. Hadn't we got debuffed, we definitely would have been in a much better spot. So not really looking good for us. We Zygarde just survives with one HP and able to throw this. Probably they go for the crunch. Oh, they went for the earthquake, so they went for the BM. Never mind. So yeah, not good for us, but it is what it is. Picking up very positive lead in the form of this Rhyperior. Rhyperior will take double super effective damage from the waterfalls. We do need to watch out for Rock Wrecker though, because that would definitely affect the Kyogre. This is definitely not a Rock Wrecker, so I decide to let this one go. This is a Breaking Swipe. Hopefully we don't get the debuff. We didn't get the debuff. Looks like the opponent just is looking to sack their Rhyperior. Maybe they have, I don't know what they were thinking. So they come in with Kyogre, which is quite nice for me because I can just stay in this matchup and match my Primarina up against this Kyogre, which would be an ideal matchup, because if they are running something like a Palkia in the back, Togekiss can handle it. And I'm thinking that they're running Palkia in the back because they might have thought their lineup could have been Rhyperior, Kyogre and Palkia, judging by the fact that they'll be looking to draw out the Dialga with their Palkia of their own, and then farm down whatever is left of the Dialga with the Rhyperior. So this is the reason that I made the swap aggressively, because I'm expecting a Palkia, and my opponent just quits. Looks like that they were indeed running Palkia in the back. So that's set number 1, I believe, and this was a 4-1 set if I'm not wrong. So this helped me to get to 24-30 something, and the next set that I played, I was able to secure a 5-0. So this catapulted me to veteran and eventually the leaderboard. So picking up a negative lead, I would say, because Mewtwo will definitely be able to grab all my shields. I cannot win in one shields against the Mewtwo. I do win the 0 shield matchup, but definitely not the ones. But still, I want to shield this Kyogre and do a lot of damage onto this Mewtwo, because I want Mewtwo as low health as possible. So throwing this Surf, hoping to grab a shield, because Mewtwo users typically shield their Pokemon, as they like keeping the Mewtwo alive. So they throw this Side Strike. We survive a Side Strike from here. We would be able to throw another Surf. So that would be quite nice for us. But I somehow decide to double shield my Kyogre and take a Side Strike to the face, which is not very good play from my side. I definitely should have thrown the Surf before taking this damage, but now I would be able to farm the Mewtwo down. And I'm expecting them to come in with a Dragon of their own, and that's why you saw me first tapping onto Togekiss and then Primarina, because had I kept Togekiss onto the Dialga, they could have just thrown Iron Hand, knocked the Togekiss out. So Primarina fortunately would be able to survive one Iron Head, and then if they have Palkia in the back, they will be just met with the Togekiss, but they are running Landorus. And this thing is not good for us, because if they decide to throw one Sansea Storm and then double up, we would be in a very bad spot. And looks like, yeah, they don't need to throw one and double up because they can just double up here and go for one and throw the another one on Kyogre. And since Landorus wins CMP over Kyogre, I cannot. I have to come in with Togekiss because Togekiss will be able to take the Sansea Storm. I expected that they'll throw immediately, considering that I am loaded on energy on my Kyogre. So they throw their energy on Sansea Storm, which is quite nice. I do one waterfall and throw the surf. This would allow me to get to 2 back-to-back surfs. The other one I'll throw at the Dialga, and I think this game is pretty much done because we do survive one Iron Head from the Dialga if the Togekiss had not taken the Dragon Breath damage. And Surf, I think, has done enough damage onto this Dialga so that the Charms would be able to finish the rest of the game. We'll just have to see if they are running Thunder. Thunder would be very bad for us. So if this is Thunder, our game is over. But if this is Iron Head, we survive and take the win for ourselves. So time's up, and the Dialga go for Iron Head, which makes us the game. So GG's. Moving on to the next one, let's see what my opponent brings, and they brings in Solgaleo, which is very good for us. Solgaleo is a negative matchup for up against the Kyogre. Kyogre wins this particular game unless they are running Solar Beam, and if they are running Solar Beam, it's I don't mind losing to them because they are doing pretty ballsy moves. So they throw the Psychic Fangs, which is fine because we are taking resisted damage from the Fire Spin, so Psychic Fangs will not do a lot of damage. We throw this Surf, which will do a good amount of damage. This puts the Solgaleo in the waterfall down range, or at least it's chipped enough so that even if the Kyogre goes down, my Charmers can handle this thing. So they go for Psychic Fangs, and now I think I should be able to farm them down completely. Unfortunately or fortunately, they are not able to. I thought for a moment that they would be able to get to a move. I furiously tap, and they bring in their Palkia, which gives me a head start that my back Pokemon is really good against this. So I just need to get rid of this Landorus, and Primarina can clean in the back. So this Landorus will throw this Stone Edge, which would be knocking out the Togekiss, which is fine for me because they will need to throw another move onto us to knock us out. I don't think they'll be able to Mudshot us down. I am not throwing my energy because I know that I don't need to. I just need to do fast move damage at this point of time, and since they are up 2 shields, it would be, yeah, you can say that I'm not throwing any move, and I think I throw it now for some reason, or I don't even bother throwing because I know my opponent would quit once they see the Primarina, and doing the 4 shield flex here, so taking yet another win. And I think that this is probably a very good feeling when you're able to pair this Primarina against the Palkia. So going up against a positive lead, they come in with Lugia, and I really didn't know at the time how to deal with this Pokemon because Lugia will, even though it's doing resisted damage from those Dragon Tails, but the Aeroblast would knock both our Pokemons out. So I do some chip damage before dipping out to my Togekiss because I definitely want to keep the alignment. I'm expecting that they would be running a Dragon in the back, so I need to have a Dragon coverage in order to not a dragon coverage. I have 2 Dragon coverages, but I need to maintain alignment. I definitely should not lose one. And since my opponent went for the Aeroblast, we would be able to charm them all the way down. Ho-Oh certainly would not be able to farm us down, so they would be taking double super effective damage from the Ancient Power, but Ancient Power is not a very good move. So it will, it will do, I think 50 or 60%, and we get the boost as well. So this boost will surely will not be quite as efficient here because we definitely would go down to the charge move thrown by the Ho-Oh. Shadow Ho nonetheless, but since they were forced to throw the move early, we can come in with the Kyogre and do super effective damage with the waterfalls. And my opponent just failed to their Salamence, Shadow Salamence nonetheless, and This fly would do a lot of damage, but I hope that it's not enough to knock us out. So they definitely go for the fly, which does massive damage onto the Primarina, but just not enough to knock us out. And Charms will do the charm thing and get rid of the Salamence. Unfortunately, as I said, Primarina does not do any damage to the Ho-Oh with their fast moves or even the cheapest charge move available to it. So we go for this Disarming Voice, but my opponent shields. Maybe they thought that we are running Psychic. But this is good for me because now I definitely would be able to knock them out. And as I said, Ho-Oh cannot store charge moves, so they would be they at least would need one Incinerate to knock us out. And I probably didn't even need to throw this Waterfall, could have just straight away went for the Surf. Just for the cautious, just being cautious and getting the W here. So GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next battle, going up against yet another Ho-Oh, and let's see what my opponent would switch into. So they come in with the Dialga, which is quite nice for me. This Togekiss would definitely be able to handle Dialga pretty well. Excuse me. And we definitely would want to invest some shields here. However, it's still good for me because as long as I maintain the alignment, if they're running something like Palkia or Zygarde in the back, Primarina would be able to nicely deal with them. So let's see what will happen. Throwing this Ancient Power just so that we either grab a shield or knock out the Dialga. My opponent decides to shield, which is quite nice. I would return my shield here and completely farm them down and should be able to throw one Ancient Power onto the Ho-Oh. I guess this is not a very good spot really, because we would get farmed down with the by the Ho-Oh. So we will just have to see how this turns out if my opponent decides to throw a charge move or not. They shield, which is quite nice, and if they are not counting, I think we would be able to get to the Ancient Power. My opponent is indeed going for a very hard farm down of their Ho-Oh. So yeah, let's see how this would play out, because they are chipped away. And I don't get a sneak on the Waterfall, which I definitely should have. This might make a difference in the end game, because had that Waterfall gone through, the Ho-Oh would have taken a Waterfall damage, which was crucial for me. They bring in their Reshiram, which is not really seen a lot. Definitely it has some advantage over Palkia, because they are taking neutral damage from those charms, and Fusion Flare, even though resisted, it did a lot of damage. So we go for this Disarming Voice. I think they would let this go, or there are no shields involved. The Reshiram does not go down of the Disarming Voice, but gets farmed down instead. And luckily the Ho-Oh is solo, and I think we should be able to charm them down, because if they are able to farm us down, we are definitely not surviving the Brave Bird. And since I think my opponent was doing really good counting, because they threw right at when I got to a Disarming Voice. But since Ho-Oh, as I said, can't stack moves, they will have to throw one Incinerate, and which is enough to let through the Waterfall in and knock out the Ho-Oh. So GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next game, picking up a negative lead in the form of this Dialga, and I swap out to Togekiss. In the hindsight, you can also swap out to Primarina, because Dialga can't really, because Dialga, as I said, does neutral damage to Primarina with their Iron Head instead of super effective, and being Togekiss, you have to shield the Iron Head here. And if they decide to come in with something like Landorus or Mewtwo, you are in a really bad spot, because you are down a shield and Mewtwo can really just knock out the Togekiss at that range with the Side Strike. So since my opponent is not swapping out, I just thought that maybe they are running triple Dragon here for some reason. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense that why they are not swapping out of this negative matchup, eventual negative matchup, and especially when they have when I have a Kyogre in the lead. So they come in with Lugia, and at this point of time, these switch timers are so misaligned. I think excuse me, I think I can throw one ancient power and dip to Kyogre so that my Kyogre doesn't have to face the Dialga. But I was a bit unsure about whether they are going to have a Landorus in the back or not, because Dialga something neutral, safe swap Pokemon, and Landorus is a good backline or is a good team. What I would be looking for here is farm down the Lugia completely, or just throw right before they go for the Aeroblast. Fortunately, we are able to get rid of this Lugia before they get to an Aeroblast. I think it's definitely not an Aeroblast. Yeah, it's a Sky Attack. So the Lugia will go down, and at this particular range, a surf damage and some waterfalls would be enough. And they do have a Palkia in the back. So yeah, I think I perhaps thought of it at that time, but yeah, maybe skipped out while I was editing the video. So we are able to get the win here, and this is a 5-window set, and I should be able to reach veteran. And with veteran reach, I think I definitely would be able to get to the leaderboards, because this time around the leaderboards are as such that early, at least the early leaderboards were that even if you are at a higher elo, unless you are not a veteran, you will not get a rankings on the leaderboard. So this is where I ended up with 25-34, but I played one set after this and I went 1-4. So that's why the elo stands at 2483. So I hope you liked and enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.